Hi friends, my name is Lokesh Nathani. I run a company called Disrupt Thinking, which is into leadership coaching, mentoring for startups, networking, as well as I'm an investor. I'm happy to be here to share with you my journey over last so many years. So many times, many of us feel that I'm not blessed, I don't have the resources, the kind of background that I come from, how am I going to make it big in life? I was one of them, when I started, when I started my journey, I come from a background where there were a lot of financial challenges. It was not easy right from the word go, that is my childhood. But I was very, very fortunate that, my parents, they really worked hard to ensure that we get good education. Also, the school where I studied, that school was very, very kind to us and never made us feel or realize that we don't have enough resources. So from a very humble beginning in a probably 50 square feet flat, 5 of us, me, my parents and 2 of my brothers, is how I started. Thanks to my financial challenges, I started to work at a very, very early age. So I remember the day I gave my class 10th board exam, I moved on to a job, a full-time job. So I used to do school in the morning and I used to do a full-time job. The whole idea was that how I can support my family and learn about various intricacies of business. This is how it all started. So till my college, I worked all the 5 years full-time. I've always been a dreamer. My mom taught me that you got to dream big, you got to want more and more things in life. With the kind of background that I come from, I always had this, that one day I want to be successful and help my parents have a good life, because I've seen them working so very hard. The first dream in my life that I had was to get admission in a college called St. Xavier's College, Calcutta. This was, at that point of time, the #1 college in India. And I never knew that how I'll get it, because the kind of background that I come from. But I was very, very fortunate to get admission in Xavier's, and that is how my journey into a different world started. After doing my graduation from Xavier's, I moved on to Hyderabad, the lovely city of Hyderabad, which people call it Bhagyanagar as well. And this is where my fortune started to change. I moved to Hyderabad, worked for a couple of years in the steel and chemical industry, and then realized that this is not my cup of tea. Probably my cup of tea is financial services. 1992, I moved to financial services industry in Hyderabad, worked for about 7 years here. And during those 7 years is where I really learned. I learned how to do sales, how to do marketing. That is where I discovered that, talking comes very, very naturally to me. I could connect with people very, very easily. And it was a wonderful 7 years in Hyderabad. 1999, the debacle of financial services industry, it went through a very, very rough patch. Most of the companies were out of business, and I started to look for alternate jobs. That's when I moved to the city, the financial capital of India, which is Bombay. Not knowing what Bombay is all about, no idea at all, how I'm going to deal with such a large city. Coming from a small city like Hyderabad in 1999-2000, moving to Bombay was a huge step in my life, not easy at all. And the first 1 year was the biggest challenge in Mumbai, because in Hyderabad I was used to living in a bigger house, office close to the house. Life was very simple and easy. Mumbai, suddenly I realized that I moved into a 400 square feet flat, because that's all I could afford at that time with my salary. And my office was almost about 35 kilometers from my house. And so it was a very, very tough start. But I guess, as they say, if your start is tough, you get prepared, and then you can deliver your best. And that's exactly what happened with me. I still remember, I keep sharing this, I still remember my first day to office. People told me that if you want to reach office in time, the best way to do it is go through local train. So here I was, wearing a well-ironed shirt, with my tie and all, and very, very excited to go to my office, which was Franklin Templeton. I left home in an auto rickshaw, came to the station, and at station I saw, my God, there were thousands of people at the platform waiting to get inside the train. And I was very, very scared to get inside the train because it was so crowded, and we had I left almost like 5 trains, and I was constantly looking at my watch, and I realized that, if I stand here, I'll be late on first day of the work. And the value system that I was told always by my father was that you can never be late to work. You should always be on time. So it was bothering me. And I asked somebody there saying that when you think this rush will be less? And he said it will be not before 11:30. And I was like, my God, I have to be in office by 9:30. So this gentleman on that platform taught me the SOP, the standard operating procedure to get inside the train and get out of the train. So all he told me was, don't worry about your shirt and all that, because all your colleagues in office will also come with shirts which have a lot of crease on it. So just put your bag in the front so that it goes with you. Take your mark and just go with the crowd, go with the rush in the train. You don't have to worry about it. People themselves will take you in the train. And there I was, my first day in Mumbai, and I was like, no, this is not the life that I wanted. But as I said, you need to go through the process. You need to go through the toughness in life to ensure that when you actually face some situations, you can handle them. So this is how I started. Spent about 15 years in Bombay. Grew from, just being a manager to heading India and Middle East markets. Worked for companies like HDFC, ICICI, Motilal Oswal. That was also the time when I got my first exposure to media. For almost about couple of years, I was regular on various business channels. I used to write a lot of articles in newspapers and magazines. And during those 15 years, I learned a lot of things in Bombay. And I think some of it I would like to share with you. One of the things that I learned in Mumbai was think always big. Mumbai is a city which tells you don't think small. Even if you are from a smaller city, it doesn't matter. Mumbai can give you opportunity to really, think big. Because if you think small, you get small. If you think big, chances are that you'll get big. So that was one of my biggest lessons. Second was that once you think big, you got to work for it. And I was always a go-getter. I always went to the opportunity. I never waited for opportunity to fall on my lap. So if I wanted something, I always reached out to people and say, what, this is what I want. This includes even my job changes. So when I wanted to move from company X to company Y, rather than waiting for somebody to call me, being the sales guy I was, I used to set up a meeting directly with the CEO of the company, and that's how, my journey was. So this was the second lesson, that create opportunities, go and grab the opportunities. They may not come to you. You have to grab it. The third lesson I learned in Mumbai was the power of networking. I mean, if you connect dots of people that you know around you, you can do a lot of things. And Mumbai taught me so much because the city was so huge. There were so many people, so many successful people you always look up to. So for me, that city taught me how do you network, how do you connect dots. And if you connect dots the right way, you can reach any destination that you want. The fourth lesson that I learned from that city is that there is no substitute for hard work. If you work hard, sooner or later, success will be yours. And when I look at myself, coming from a background where, even day-to-day living was a challenge, to reaching to a stage where I ended up buying a flat in Mumbai. I think, for me, whatever it's worth, that's some benchmark of success. Otherwise, as a family, we never thought that we'll move out from a small suburb of Calcutta in a 50-60 square feet flat to buying a flat in Mumbai. So obviously God has been extremely kind, and these lessons helped me reach my destination. Fifth thing that I really learned from Mumbai is that connect with people, and it doesn't matter what your visiting card says. It doesn't matter how big or small you are. That city had space for everybody, and people were too busy with their lives, and nobody used to judge you. In terms of what you're wearing, what transport are you using, where are you? People were not in judgmental mode, and so the spirit of Mumbai was absolutely high, and that grew on me as an individual, that you got to be spirited. Life will keep throwing challenges, but you got to keep running. And I think Mumbai is a great example. Lastly, Mumbai also humbles you. I think it's a great city. I think everybody in their growing years should spend some time in Mumbai working or living, because it humbles you. When you are in the train and you realize that the person sitting next to you is a big shot in a company, he's a CEO, he's a CIO, maybe earning more than 1 crore, but he travels in the same train that you are traveling. It tells you that, oh my God, man, this city really, really humbles you. It just doesn't matter who you are. So I think these were some amazing lessons that I learned. In about year 2014 is when I decided that I think I've worked good 20 odd years in my life. Time has come now to be on my own, and I thought what better city than to Hyderabad. So I moved from Mumbai to Hyderabad in 2014 to start my own company, which is Disrupt Thinking. I was wondering that what should I start? I'm not an engineer, I am not a technical guy, I had no innovation in mind. What I realized is that my biggest strength is that I can connect with people, I can reach out to people, I can speak to them in their language, the language that they understand, whether it's verbal, written or body language. And I thought, okay, fine, so let me start my company, which is going to be into coaching and training, mentoring, etc., etc. And this is how I started. I'm very, very fortunate that the city accepted me, though I came back after 15, 16 years, it accepted me wholeheartedly. People were extremely nice, very, very kind, and very, 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 very supportive. I love staying here. Some of the lessons that I learned in last 3-4 years as an entrepreneur, they are very, very helpful to me. And one of the lessons that I learned, early days of my entrepreneurship was suddenly some of my people whom I knew so well for last so many years, the moment I started on my own, I realized they stopped taking my calls. Probably they were having this fear or assumption that I may ask them for some favor, I may ask them for some work in their company, whatever be the reason. So what I learned is that when the moment your visiting card changes, chances are that some of your well-known friends and family may they disappear, because they are not sure what you're going to do. They have doubts that you may ask for favor. So you as an entrepreneur got to be prepared that it's very, very lonely out there. The only person who can move forward is you. You have to fight all the challenges, more so mental challenges, because it was quite shocking for me that suddenly people whom I was banking on, they disappeared. So that was a very hard lesson for me to learn. But it helped me a lot in overcoming, I think that challenge. Once I overcome that challenge and I realized that I am all alone, I am now my own boss, I am now everything of myself. So anything and everything that I do, I have to do it myself. I think as an entrepreneur, once you overcome this challenge mentally, that nobody is there for me, I have to feed for myself, I have to do it all by myself. I think half the battle is won. The second challenge that I faced was, how do I market myself? How do I reach out to people and tell them what I am doing? So initially when I started, I used to talk to people about what I am doing. Everybody used to ask me, why are you doing this? Why training? Why coaching? What is it? Why disrupt? And initially I had no answers. And then I came across this wonderful book called Start with Why by Simon Sinek. And when I read that book, I realized the power of why. I knew what I wanted to do, but probably I was not being able to convey my why to people. The moment I started to convey the why, suddenly the world changed. Suddenly people became far more acceptable. So the second learning as an entrepreneur was that you as an entrepreneur need to know why you are doing what you are doing. Because once you know why you are doing what you are doing, people will start believing you, people will start supporting you. Many times we focus completely on the what and the how. What I want to do, how I want to do. But why is the connect with people's belief, with their emotions, with their feelings? So we need to discover as an entrepreneur the why. The third lesson that I learned is that financially it's not easy. You got to be prepared for a long battle. Sometimes you may take 3 years, sometimes you may take 5 years. I know some entrepreneurs who took 10 years to be where they are today, So one should be mentally prepared through their, financials that you can fight this long battle. I was completely spoiled by the corporate life. I was used to luxuries of 5-star hotels, flights for last 20 years. And suddenly when I turned entrepreneur, it became a huge challenge for me because I was not being able to compromise on those things. Fortunately, I had some savings which sustained me for last 5 years, and I did not give up on most of my luxuries. But as an entrepreneur, if you don't have that support, is going to be a huge challenge. Many of them give up in between because they don't know how to deal with financial challenges. So you should be prepared for it. Fourth thing that I learned, the networking part came very handy to me. Today, I think more than half my business that I get or whatever visibility I get is purely because of networking. So the networking that I learned in Mumbai, I think that power of connecting dots and reaching out to people is really helping me. So as an entrepreneur, if you don't know how to network, I think you are going to have a lot more challenges than somebody who knows how to network. So these were some of the lessons that I learned, and today God has been extremely kind. There is still a long way to go, but there is certain amount of visibility that I have, and it feels great when somebody calls me or somebody messages me or somebody emails me and says, Lokesh, you made a difference to my life, or connecting with me made some difference in their life, in their thoughts, in their business. So it feels great. It's very satisfying. Currently, I'm also working on couple of modules where I'm helping entrepreneurs to go right from the start, from ideation to the go-to market and then the financing part of it. So that is something that I've started doing now, and I think the ecosystem of Hyderabad for the startups is immense. The government is very supportive. All we need is a mindset, not just an idea. An idea along with a mindset can take entrepreneurs to a great length in this city of Hyderabad. So that's all I have, and happy to be here and share with you some part of my life and my lessons. Thank you so much. God bless you.